Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best, you gotta show me son. Actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
First in the building, Shaw News and Sauce Experience, aka Showtime Shaw. Yes, it's busy over in NY. You already know the weigh-ins are official. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Team Tucker on deck. About to lace up once again come July 1st. Very, very special talent, future Hall of Fame. Future Hall of Famer, world champion first. You know what I'm saying? I always try to make light of certain things, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just trying to ruffle the feathers of the Xander Zayas, you know what I'm saying? People that is on deck and feel some type of way about the call out. You know what I'm saying? They may have something to say with me saying that he's a future Hall of Famer. He ain't won no championships yet. I mean, it's just banter. You know what I'm saying? It's Friday. We about to turn up on this, particular live. Yes, sir. Appreciate everyone in the building. Mr. Pass on deck. Big up WCS. Big up Shaw News. WCS, that Teofimo Death comment was very odd in my opinion. Dude ain't in a good headspace. Okay. All right. We definitely I spoke about that earlier. This is I'm gonna start off this segment by saying, big shout out to the supporters. Not just to say it, but I truly appreciate you all tuning into the channel, getting the notifications, interacting with the topic. There's everything to keep a channel flowing. I'm not like a panel orientated channel, but every now and then I will engage. And just like yesterday, I have to make a example out of film study. Film study was obviously just above the legal age of cognizant comprehension. He was over here acting like a child. You know what I'm saying? And though I understood he was acting like a child, I didn't want to engage him with certain things and his behavior and the way he was acting and trying to ask us questions that was rhetorical. You know what I'm saying? Little kiddie games. And when people say you don't know shit about boxing, they come over here with bad intentions anyway. They're not here to have a cordial or conducive boxing conversation. All they want to do is argue. They want to debate. They was probably over here trying to, so-called disrupt the channel for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So film study, if you're out there, I understood, what your deal was. Come over here asking dumbass questions. You know what I'm saying? Just asking dumbass questions. And if you're saying don't nobody know shit about boxing, then you sure enough wasted time coming over to a channel that you already knew. This wasn't your first time seeing WCS out here, but yet you came over here whining and complaining about freaking rehydration clauses and stupid ass questions. But what you should go back and do and just study a little bit more about topics that you have questions about. That's all. That's what I'll suggest you do. And so you wouldn't come in here in the presence of grown ass men and boxing enthusiasts and ask stupid ass questions. But I know you won't be back over here again, and keep it that way. It's all good with me. It's all good with me. Don Vaughn, what's good? Salute WCS in the chat, listening while driving. Appreciate you, brother. If black people are driving right now, that means they either been off work for 2 hours and have stopped by happy hour or the package store and they on their way home, or not. I'm just saying, or not. But I'm just saying, when it comes Friday, black people are very punctual. Hey, we go to work ahead of time on Friday and we get off ahead of time on Friday. You know what I'm saying? Don't ask me what happened between Monday and Thursday. I'm just telling you what's going on with Friday. Very punctual. Shout out to the XO Factory on deck. Salute to you, brother. Good to see you in the building. OGW says, what's good, bro? It's been a minute, but I'm on deck checking in, bro. Hey, no doubt, man. Salute to you. Long as you on deck in the building, hey, you can pull up whenever you feel like it, man. I know you got grown folks' responsibilities handled. It's all good, bro. Salute to you. Showtime said the circus came to town. They knew the sauce bring that Team Tucker heat. I would have asked them if they want that Tucker fight since they wasn't impressed. On deck, what's good? Yeah, I had to put the Hall of Fame out there because Team Zayas is on deck and they seem not to be too happy, with certain things. I thought that was what you're supposed to do. You challenge yourselves. You continue to get better. Are we just using these terms today just because, iron sharpen iron, iron sharpen iron. Okay. You have a 20 piece iron, right? You have a 20-year-old piece of iron, right? And he wants to sharpen that motherfucker. So, he want to call out another Puerto Rican, but somehow it don't work. I get it, man. I get it. Somehow he's not able to get on the cards where he could have shined. He could have shined and even got more fan, improved and expanded his fan base as we know it. But that wasn't the case. I don't know how long does IS is y'all gonna hold some type of, animosity because somebody called you out like the old school and the new school. It's okay for y'all to call people out. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. But when we do it, it's a problem. So as you already know, Showtime put it out there that, of course, this was the weigh in. NYC is packed. It's a lot of boxing media and going on over there. Both fighters made weight for the main event. All right. So if you want to see most of the media, check out Town Biz and Entertainment. He's put out some videos already. I know he did a very good video with Michelle Rivera. Something kind of came off as odd. He said he couldn't really speak on his situation. I guess they appealing or they trying to do something with the Frank Martin situation. But he said it was in court. But Michelle Rivera, shout out to him. He speaks very good English, and he did a very solid interview with Town Biz. So make sure y'all check that out. He has several other videos he's gonna be pumping out over the day from that fight card over there. Haven't seen any interview with Josh Taylor or Teofimo Lopez, of course. And that's where I'm about to lead my opening topic. Okay, let's get it down and popping. Lopez Sr. is no secret that he is different. Lopez Sr. will give you the energy when you don't want the energy. And when you need the energy, he'll give you more than you actually want. Okay? Lopez Sr. ran into Bill Haney. Now, this is not the first time they ran into each other. But ultimately, when we dial it back, we spin the Rolodex back in the past. These two was pretty much in conversation a lot. Why? Because Tio happened to pick up the straps for Devin Haney, and Devin Haney was the current reigning defending WBC titleist. Okay, back then you had the whole entire group of bandits on the YTC that was trying their best to set up the fight. And see, they did the exact same thing, which did not work. Nothing they do on here when they try to match up fighters together through hate and discontent, it doesn't work. So at that time, they was trying to get Tio and Devin to fight, and it didn't work. But Bill and Lopez Sr. had plenty of moments where they were having encounters, and they was talking trash back and forth. And Bill was, Bill being the salesman himself, Bill being the promoter, Bill being the OG, you know what I'm saying, on where he at, he's built for the YTC streets. He's built for trash talking. So him and Lopez used to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, because Bill wanted Devin Haney to fight Teofimo Lopez. It never happened, of course, because, when it comes down to it, I think the Lopez's became a bit agitated. They found the Haneys to be, a nuisance. They just find them to be like, it wasn't productive to where they was trying to go in boxing. That's where all the back and forth verbal sparring online came into play. It seemed like it was getting personal and shit like that. And and Tio, when you weigh his options, if you had two people for him to fight, it would have been Kambosos is mandatory or Devin Haney with the belt. He chose Kambosos. Now, I'm not here to go into detail about that era, that part of life. I'm speaking about what one fighter had at that moment in the cachet. He had the belts, he had the cachet, and he had the leverage. You know what I'm saying? He can make the phone calls. He had the leverage. Tio had the leverage. Okay. Since losing that, Devin Haney has since dispersed of Kambosos twice and a Lomachenko. All right. 2 fights in Aussie. Boom, gone. Cleaned it up. 2-0, undefeated in the backyard of Australia. And then you spin it, you spin the dial even more. We got Lomachenko. So Devin Haney completed something that Teofimo Lopez wasn't able to do. And Tio's my guy, but I got to give Devin Haney his just due, because he did it. He did more than Tio did at 135. That's a fact. When it comes to the belts, he did something no other boxer in the history of the sport has been able to do. And that is collect all the belts to include the franchise, which was active in the lightweight division. All right. You had a total of 4 franchisee in the lightweight division. You had Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, Kambosos, and Devin Haney. Crazy, huh? Crazy, huh? So he collected all the belts, right? From Kambosos. He collected all the belts. Then once he got it, he defended against Lomachenko. Once again, he fought in Australia, somebody else's backyard, won the belts, defended the belts twice, with Lomachenko being the conclusion to the gauntlet, the trilogy of the gauntlet. So you got to give Devin Haney respect in that regard. Now, coming to Bill Haney and freaking Lopez Sr., they're in a whole nother division. And if anybody who followed me back then, I pretty much put it out there that as black fighters, you need not play catch up to these Latino fighters, Hispanic fighters, because we've been pretty much looking through the windshield and seeing Canelo up in front for a long period of time, right? So I said, why don't you all do enough to put yourself in that position? Well, it's not that easy, because we've seen that you don't really have to have the belts. It takes a very unique dynamic to get yourself up there as the cash cow or the face of boxing. It's different. So now we are at the point where Lopez Sr. meets up with Bill Haney, and it's totally different now. You know what I'm saying? It's totally different in a sense where these two fathers and their sons have accomplished a lot, right? So now they're at a point where Devin's still, active. He's coming off a freaking championship win in Vegas, whereas Lopez Sr., Tio's about to go in there and face Josh Taylor for another championship in his second division. So with that said, Tio is still in the lead at this point. He's still in the lead, Even with one loss, he's still in the lead per se. And you probably ask yourself like, how is that possible? Devin still reigned defending. He ain't lost his belts. Okay, I get it. That's the lightweight division. But when you're talking about additioning your legacy, moving up to another weight class, not becoming comfortable. I'm not saying Devin's becoming comfortable. No, he's waiting on the fight to get him the bag, or if he's not going to stay there with the titles, he's going to move up to the next division and make sure his first fight is like what Terrence Crawford did, at least fight for a strap. So that's what happened between Lopez Sr. and Haney and Bill Haney. Lopez kept, reaching out and touching Bill, and he was a little bit aggressive. And Bill, like, hey, he moved his hand, and they was talking about, what they usually talk about, their sons, and Bill say, we want to fight your son. Can you promise us that he go ahead and beat Josh Taylor? You gonna fight Devin Haney, because that'll be a good fight. Why wouldn't that be a good fight? That would be absolutely a great fight to utilize the belts effectively. Vacate them at 135, and you get a title shot with T.O. And for T.O., that'll be good for him too, because now you're facing the Devin Haney coming up for 135, and you're about to defend your title. Something you wasn't really able to do with all the titles. You know what I'm saying? You defended your IBF, but when you got all the titles, you weren't able to collectively defend the unified titles. So if not to put the donkey, before the wagon, but when it comes down to T.O.'s going in here and fighting Josh Taylor, these two was like having a conversation where Bill was like, hey, if he wins, can you promise to get, Devin, this, that, that, just talk, right? And then, Lopez Sr. said something like 20 million. I was like, what? 20 million? I mean, look, who am I to say that's too much money? But it wasn't explained. I didn't know what Lopez Sr. meant by that. 20 million split 2 ways, 10 to 10, 8 figures, or what are we talking about? 20 million for Teofimo for Devin to fight T.O. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna tell you like this. After what I just seen with Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia, and being that, both of these fighters somehow contributed to the money that was made, the high pay-per-view numbers. But I put the bulk load of that on Gervonta Davis and his pay-per-view star power. Now, once again, in this case right here with T.O., he goes in there and get that championship in the second division. That's going to be big. That would be big for him based off the strength that what he's been able to accomplish in 20 fights. He's going in there tomorrow in his 20th professional fight to contend for a title and millennial. I mean, that's good shit, bro. That means he's continued to stay ahead of the game. His 2-weight division is different than Shakur Stevens' 2-weight divisions. I'm just being honest in what I see. Shakur did stay, he was unified at 130, but he did lose his belts on the scales. Okay, I wouldn't look too far deep in the Teofimo Lopez stripping down today to make the weight. I wouldn't look too much into that. He made the weight. That is what it is. The weight is your body. The weight isn't with other gear on. We just wear garments because go back in the day, goddamn Eve gave Adam the apple. She wouldn't have gave him the apple. We still walk around this motherfucker butt naked. I'm just saying, shit changed. Okay. Stuff done changed. So it's not what your drawers weigh. It's not what your socks weigh. It's what you weigh, your body, your anatomy. That's what it's supposed to be. Anyway, Lopez Sr. was a little bit aggressive with the right hand, and Bill was slipping, like, hey, dude. And, he has his moments, though, when he gets so-called rambunctious, so to speak. Lopez Sr. can you need to be on guard because he will. One thing about it, I haven't never had a moment that he was rambunctious with me. He's given an interview when he's supposed to. Like I said, you got to be understanding and know them to understand who they are. But at the end of the day, I don't think that fight with Devin Haney is going to happen anytime soon. T.O. goes in here and win this 140-pound belt tomorrow. I don't think that fight is even going to be a topic of discussion. Why did I look at it that way? Because it takes me back to the Gary Russell situation. I watched as the YouTube was active and panels was active, right? When he was supposed to face Gamboa November 7th, right? And they was active with putting this Gary Russell talk in here over and over again, knowing that they wasn't ever going to drop that date. So being that we understand that there's been talk about Devin Haney fighting Regis Prograis. You know what I'm saying? Regis is a legitimate WBC champion and he's a legitimate name. He's looking for a big fight with a big name. You know what I'm saying? He's looking for a fight to supersede that of Josh Taylor. That fight was a very great performance by both fighters. But Josh Taylor won, and he went on to become undisputed. Regis Prograis is now 2-time junior welterweight world champion. And you're talking about Devin Haney moving up with his undisputed titles at 135 to face Regis. That'd be good. So that's why I don't think this fight is going to happen between him, Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney. I don't think that shit is happening anytime soon. I don't see it. I don't see it, bro. Teofimo Lopez has had 3 fights. This will be his third fight at 140. I don't see this shit happening. But it was kind of wild because, he said, 20 million, motherfucker. I know you like money, motherfucker. Okay, well, y'all like money too. A lot of fighters should want, like money because the sport in itself is merciless and it doesn't give you a going away package. It doesn't give you a severance package. It doesn't provide you with the essential tools that you need to go out, hang the gloves up and go out there knowing that you got to go somewhere and fill out paperwork so you can get your retirement. They don't have any of that for you. You aren't provided that. So these boxers definitely need to make as much money as they possibly can. And that's how it went down. You know what I'm saying? A little heated interaction between Bill Haney and Lopez Sr. as always. Lopez was a bit aggressive, a little bit rambunctious, as I call it. But Bill handled it like he did, put some humor into it. And he said, well, I don't know what 20 million mean, but anyway, hey, go Josh Taylor. You know what I'm saying? Because we really can't sit up here and think that fight's going to happen anytime soon. Let's keep it moving. Shout out to Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, some more salute, OG. How you feeling? It's hard to gauge what Senior has going on. It's really hard to gauge that dude. He's very up tempo with his personality and his mood. His mood can be misunderstood if you don't know who he is. I think Senior was on the edge. He had the look. If you know, you know. Yeah, man, he did. And you know what I'm saying? I just hope, T.O. goes in there, have a one of his best fights ever in his career, and he pick up that belt. I believe that T.O. is gonna go in there and pick up that belt. Seriously. You know what I'm saying? Josh Taylor looked the way he did when he beat Jose Ramirez. He didn't look the same against Jack Catterall, and T.O. He didn't look the same when he fought Campo. Long story short, they will be facing off tomorrow, and we'll see how those results look. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how those results look. As you all heard, I don't know who's in the chat, but if you can just hit the like button, I have 19 in the building. So that doesn't mean all of you all is in here to support WCS, but if you can get the likes up to 20, 500, okay, If you can get the likes up to 2,500, I would appreciate it. Okay. I would appreciate your support. As you already heard, right? If you're looking at this thumbnail, these are recent pictures of Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. Okay. And the reason why I juxtapose and put them on the same thumbnail together is that I wanted people to see what the race is all about right now. They say it's not all about how you start, it's how you finish. But God damn it, we are paying attention to how it's starting. How we starting is seeing that, you know, Terrence Crawford is already looking in tremendous shape, and Errol Spence, he has some freaking alkaline water, and then I had to Photoshop, you know, some of the other stuff he had in his hands, but he doesn't look to be in the same condition that he did when he was facing Yordenis Ugas. He doesn't look to be as shredded. His abdominal bellies doesn't look to be, you know, full and you know, that's similar to his opposition that's standing there too. It just seems like conditioning wise, Crawford is ahead of him when it comes to the body fat and weighing in at 147 on fight day. Now, that's still about 5 to 6 weeks, I think. I think it's about 6 weeks remaining, truth be told. But let's talk about the reality and the truth of this fight. I had somebody, you know, I have always had these people hit me up on the DM, right? And they say, hey, the last video that you did, man, you know, you mentioned the accident, man, and you shouldn't mention the accident no more because we're trying to build up the fight. Okay. Right. So my response to you is the accident's been out here since 2019, right? So what would me talking about it have to do with anything, especially me being such a small channel? If I mention it, and I'm not mentioning it in the fact to say that, well, I believe this man is far off medically than he's leading people on to, and it's going to be a dangerous fight for him that he might lose his life. I can see if that is a little bit dramatic, but that's not my words at all. Okay. That's not my words at all. I mentioned pretty much the accident in a sense of giving you some real life assumptions. You know what I'm saying? Those are my real life assumptions, you know, based off my common knowledge of having an extreme hobby such as motorcycles and seeing people die from motorcycles with helmets on. So with protective equipment and without protective equipment, the results is going to be that much severe if you're being ejected out of a high performance sports vehicle and you hitting the pavement, period. So my reality and truth to this fight is, first off, I'm glad it's finally on deck. I'm extremely happy that it's finally on deck. I have nothing but positive, you know, vibes about the fight being announced. You know what I'm saying? It's a part of boxing history. We're trying to ensure ourselves that it get there to be a part of boxing history, right? It's been so much attached to it over these years. Excuse me. It's been so much attached to this fight over the years that we're keeping everything crossed, that both fighters go through camp without experiencing no injuries and make it to fight week so we can see them on the scales. All right. We can see them on the scales and the weights are official. Now we know that the fight is only an evening out. You know, we have an evening away from the fight when it comes to that type of closure right there. But there's a reality that's going on, and there's a truth that fans are unwilling to accept. The reality of this fight is that you do have two elite fighters pound for pound, but only one of them has shown you what's required to be in this position. Terrence Crawford is showing you what is required and dedicated to be considered the favorite. He's shown you. You know what I'm saying? He continued to show you. I'm dedicated outside the ring. I show you better than I can tell you, right? So he's out here and he's continuing to stay in shape everywhere he goes. He put the videos out there and everything. Not so much with Spence. Just not until recently, Spence has been putting out pictures here and there, clothed pictures and everything. And no training videos or anything like that. Like Crawford was doing, but he was just putting out little bits and pieces. Now that the fight has been announced and the social media has been wondering, like, hey, what type of shape is Spence in? What type of shape? And this thumbnail pretty much shows you that one fighter who came on ESPN First Take that seemed extremely happy. He didn't seem like he was miserable. You know what I'm saying? Because this is everyday life to him. This is fight life, right? So he seemed like he was happy. As of Spence, he looked a little bit miserable. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he isn't having fun in fight camp. And sometimes when you aren't having fun in fight camp, it can really take you to a whole different place to cut corners. You know what I'm saying? That reality that I continue to speak on and certain other people speak on is that Crawford is just that much more dedicated than Spence. Does that extract from the fight that's going on July 29th? It doesn't, bro. It doesn't. It just says in these upcoming weeks, this man is going to have to buckle down different. Spence is going to have to buckle down different. The only thing Crawford has continued to do is stay injury free. The training regimen doesn't stop. He has his team. They have their whole entire operating procedure on what they're going to work on for film study and everything else that goes along. The entire freaking packet, the training packet that's going to be a part of his whole fight camp. They have that in place. That's what I get from Team Crawford. Now, when it comes to Team Spence, I'm pretty sure they are doing what they're doing. First of all, definitely have to get him back snapped in. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people putting out false information, talking about people thought he wasn't in the gym and everything. He wasn't. He wasn't in there like that. I don't care what y'all talking about. He wasn't in there like that. He started getting back in shape not too long ago. You know what I'm saying? But around this time when he was fighting Ugas, he was already shredded to the motherfucking bone. As you see in this thumbnail, that's not the case, brother. This is not the case. And this is the reality that he has to play catch up with the wrong person. He has to play catch up with the wrong person. But I'm happy to see he's back in the gym. I'm happy to see that they put together a clip and sped it up goddamn 15 times and freaking put all those clips together to give the fans something. His fans were starving. Finally, they get a clip. Even them, they didn't want to slow it down because they know people will sit here. Yeah, right there. Let me see what they got going on. Okay, he in shape. They only want to slow it down. They want to run it in real time because they don't want anyone to say, well, he doesn't look entirely in shape the way he should be around these weeks right here. These weeks remain. He should already be in the gym getting prepared if they knew the fight was going to happen. Right? That's the reality of it. The way my words are and the confidence that I have isn't anything that's considered eccentric or off the mark, off the rocker, being too involved. It ain't nothing. It's just based off what I see. What he put out there to his fans and let them know what he's doing and how we can see his commitment. I don't get that from Spence. I'm not saying he ain't doing it. I'm not saying he ain't working out. I'm just not getting that commitment, right? At this point. I'm not getting it. The reality is I've seen what is required. Crawford out there running and pushing pavement. I haven't seen anything out there on Spence. This is not this is not a reality where all of a sudden you got to go secret squirrel for a fighter that's going to be your toughest competition. What secrets do you think you're going to hold from Crawford? None. Crawford's not going to hold none from you. So both of you all got to get in training camp. This shouldn't be no secret squirrel type shit. This should be goddamn, it is what it is. If you out there running in the Texas hills, okay, run in the Texas hills. But if you're not hitting the pavement and you say you're the stronger fighter and you think you're going to have more endurance, more resilience from Crawford, if you ain't out there hitting pavement right now, I don't know what you're thinking about. It's going to take more than just going to these facilities and getting these qualified, these paid professionals to take you through these freaking exercise routines. It's going to take more than that. This is the best fight. This is the best fight in the best. This is the best fight that we're looking forward to right now. This is the biggest fight. No excuses, bro. It ain't no secrets. It ain't no motherfucking secrets no more. Y'all known each other for quite some time. It's film out there, all that shit. This is the reality of the fight, God damn it. It ain't nothing else can be talked about except what we see out here in social media. So right now, I see that Crawford's doing more when it comes to the training regime. And I see that yes, Spence is out there and he's getting in shape. But conditioning wise, nutrition wise, he hasn't dialed it in yet. You can tell from his physique. And I guarantee you, Spence will come into this fight a lot softer than you're used to seeing him when he stepped on the scales. Absolutely, he will. He will, because he's not fighting in his backyard. He's not fighting his backyard, and he will come in with a softer look. That's facts. So stand on the reality of this. It's the fact that both fighters definitely need to sell this fight. That's the reality of it. The reality is we've seen them initially come out on ESPN First Take and talk their talk. Now, it wasn't so in depth that we had a 4 to 5 week note-taking process where we can just run this, interview back and forth over and over again and say, okay, this is the bits and pieces I took from it, and I'm gonna do a live on this. It wasn't the Tony Harrison and Jamel Charlo type of energy. I feel that what I've heard in the past, with all the smear campaign ran on Crawford, what I see in this reality is that these motherfuckers trying to act like is now playing the victim. You know what I'm saying? Now they want to bring pity to the forefront and say, well, look, the same people, this is reality of it. The same people that was out here criticizing Crawford for bad negotiations and everything, right? Now it gets to him promoting the fight, him going on these different outlets and promoting the fight, to them up here trying to talk about pity. The pity aspect was when he does you do your first solo interview with the franchise football team, the professional franchise football team. And not only do you not mention his name, you're talking about pay-per-view ticket price. The price point haven't came out yet, but you don't mention his name. But you have the entire circus that supports you, right? You have them up here trying to convince people that once again Terrence Crawford was holding up the fight because of his demands. Now these are people who never been in the negotiation room at all, but they're trying to convince you, based off what Spence put out there, that he was out of the sport for over a year and he honored Crawford demands. The way he attempted to place that into context, it came off as if he was saying he was out of the sport a year because Crawford was, once again, what they was criticizing him for in 2022, that he had these unreasonable demands during negotiations. And I'm saying to myself, Are you the bully or the bitch? Y'all need to make up your mind. Are you the bully or the bitch? Because bullies love to roam in groups. And I'm not saying this is the case, but it's kind of giving me the vibe like when all these live streams is put out there about this man not knowing what he's doing, y'all put him in the same conversation as Daniel Cunningham. You said he need to leave Top Rank. He did. He went over there to PBC without a promoting. You saying he was stupid for doing that. You wanted him to just take anything and everything he wanted, and you didn't want to give that man no credit for doing this shit. He didn't get an E. You wouldn't give that man an E for effort just for going over there and trying to deal with the Grand Poobah himself. Nobody wanted to give this man fucking credit for dealing with the Grand Poobah. Not just that. The man mentioned on ESPN that he reached out to Errol. Errol never came out here recently. He didn't put out a tweet and say, just to be clear, I reached out to Terrence. No, Terrence said he reached out to Errol. So, okay, we know that to be true. That wasn't refuted. So he reached out to Errol to try to get this ball rolling once again, to get the pinwheel of interest back in full effect, because the fans still want to see this fight happen. All this tweets that was put out about spinning the block, spinning the box, spinning the block. Okay, go ahead. I'm ready to spin the block when you are, and I'm gonna drop you off. The man reached out to freaking Spence for the, to start negotiations this fight. Then it gets to a point where the fight is made. I mean, it gets to a certain point. Now the truth is coming out, people. See, Crawford didn't get enough credit or he didn't get enough plaudits, so to speak, for saying that he reached out to Errol Spence. He didn't get enough congratulatory credit for his heavy lifting. Just the fact that he lifted his mobile phone and he dialed a freaking number. He don't get enough credit for that. That's the reality of this shit. He's not getting credit for doing shit that they said that Errol was doing just to get to this point. They always talk about it's not how you start, it's how you finish, but he couldn't finish though. So Crawford had to help him. He said, okay, let me pick up the phone. Let me lift this bitch up. Let me dial. Okay, shit. These motherfucking numbers are heavy as fuck. Hey, can somebody get me a gurney? Yeah. Screw it into the ceiling. I need to rest my hand. This mobile phone is heavy as shit. I gotta call Spence up here to talk about this fight. I can't hold this motherfucking mobile phone up for a long time now. This man got on the phone and called Errol Spence and get the motherfucking fight happen. That's the truth. The reality is his effort. He took the effort, and the truth is he reached out to make this fight happen. But hold up. These same people wasn't allowing this credit to be given so easily, so naturally at all. They still won't. They busy talking about what he didn't do before Abanesian. Why is this still a topic? What he didn't do before Abanesian. Abanesian fight was a success. It's wrapped up, and that shit was sent off. That shit was shipped out to BoxRec. It's over and done with. Now we have truth coming out. The truth is, it's hard for them to swallow. It's hard for them even to, pick it up, knowing that shit is a salt tablet. A salt tablet that will be ingested with no chaser. It's hard for them to ingest the fact that this man has came out and put all his sins out there for everybody to know. Everything that you heard about me, all these rumors and shit, that motherfucking shit was real. He himself said it. Spence himself, I salute him for that. He himself put it out there. He's coming clean, y'all. He's coming clean. Certain things ain't adding up, but he's coming clean. The man said he was on borrowed time. The man has put it out there that what he was doing, how he jacked over his career. You know what I'm saying? How he's kind of giving the impression that, things aren't as easy. as people want him to be. Just like he sent that tweet out to that fan and say, you try getting injected out of a car and see how active you will be. He's putting it all out there, y'all. He is relieving himself of the burden that he's been dealing with for quite some time from his own wrongdoing. There's nothing wrong with that. It's only wrong to the aerosexuals that never want to acknowledge that this man has fault. These niggas never want to acknowledge that is the truth about this whole situation. They want to just all of a sudden think, oh man, we want to continue to talk about we want to bloviate context. We want to misconstrue context. That's what we want to do. We want to act like homeschooling was a part of everything that dealt with me learning. They want to act like the short bus wasn't a big deal because everybody on there was the same. That's the vibe that they're giving off. I've heard people say that Crawford, based off what Spence said in that Dallas Cowboy interview, that he made the A side. Listen to the truth of this. They're out here complaining from the interview to insinuate that he made the A side, Errol Spence, the A side. He is the alpha side, right? The A side. Terrence, the B side, the man that don't mean nothing. Ham did shit. He made Errol Spence. He forced him to honor his demands. He pretty much controlled the negotiations. Where did Al Heyman go? You got to understand, Al Heyman is still in the picture, right? Al Heyman, the glorious advisor that everybody talk about, right? So how can Al all of a sudden not be the topic of discussion? And now, opposite of what happened in 22. In 22, they say Errol Spence wasn't part of the negotiation. It was strictly Al Heyman. And Bud Crawford was stupid for going over there speaking to Al Heyman without representation. Now, the news come out that the fight was made, right? Now, we have a one-on-one connection between Crawford and Spence. We know they wasn't the only two individuals that was basically doing the negotiation, but they are the two fighters that everybody been talking about they want to see in the ring. Al Heyman is still in his slot. But as we didn't know the details like 2022 about the contract, about these negotiations, it's the beautiful aspect of the truth of it in 23. The details wasn't leaked out ahead of time. People was just left on the outside thinking, okay, what's going on? What's happening? Boom. Finally, the date dropped. People like myself was still skeptical. I said, I don't know if that shit true. I don't know about that shit. I don't know about that. I don't know. And then finally, boom, it hit BoxRec. It became official, right? Put it in the rear view and press the gas, right? So now, these individuals are up here pretending that Bud Crawford was now in control of everything. He made, M-A-D-E, he forced, F-O-R-C-E, he forced, not forget the D, he forced. How can the B side all of a sudden come back and they say, hey, you know what? He had representation this time. Look, he's still dealing with Al Heyman. Al Heyman ain't going no vacation. He didn't sit up here and say, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm tired. No, the truth of it is that the fight is made and Bud Crawford once again showed that he's about his business. The truth of it is Al Heyman was still in the picture. Errol Spence is getting much more press play this time around than he did in the first negotiations. In the first negotiation, the topic of discussion was what? A fire stick and the fact that Bud presented $20 million based off a hedge fund that Al Heyman didn't want to touch, right? So in this part of it, in 23, it's amazing how Errol Spence is somehow the topic of discussion as if he was the one that was in full-blown negotiation without the oversight. I mean, without the company of Al Haymon, which it ain't true. That's not true. I think the reality of this truth that sits very poorly with the aerosexuals is the fact that Bud Crawford mentioned 10 figures. I mean, 8 figures. 8 figures per both of them. Like they really wanted the news to drop that both of these fighters were in negotiation, and the news came out that Bud Crawford's getting 30%. That's not the case. Now we have the equity that seems to be balanced on both sides fairly. That's what they don't like. They don't like the shit. That is the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter is Errol Spence and that Dallas Cowboy interview was the worst interview in boxing. How did Al Haymon agree for him to do an interview and not even mention the opponent? If you're going to have that much money, like just imagine this. Jerry Jones have that much money, but yet he prevented a boxer that is residing in Texas, not Dallas, in Texas, right? He's residing in DeSoto, Texas, right? And they had one of the biggest fights in boxing history, supposedly, that may potentially go over here and break mad records. You refuse to let him do any type of promo for the fight, but yet he was allowed to mention the Manny Pacquiao, Oscar De La Hoyas, Floyd Mayweathers. You know what I'm saying? Canelo Alvarez's. He was allowed to mention other names besides that one name that he's stepping in the ring with. And the reality of it just didn't make any sense. If boxing is a business, why did that right there act as if they was going to be so petty, like that one little interview was going to affect the business of boxing? That was fucked up. The truth of it is, he was told to shut up and box. When you tell somebody to shut up, it doesn't mean them not speaking about anything, period. You can basically construct about what they're speaking on in general. Shut up when it comes to his name. But you can talk about everything else, but shut up when it comes to his name. How can you have a whole entire freaking interview, and though there was, I mean, come on, this is not a football deal, right? What did you do for him in Texas? Bud Crawford did a send-off, and then you come out with an interview. I don't see any of your community there. All I see is local media for Dallas Cowboys, for the Dallas area. But at the end of the day, you got a fight to promote. And if your people was out here rebelling, running amok, talking about the heavy liftings, putting butts in the seats, they really need to go back and spin the reel. They need to go back there and listen to all the propaganda that they was putting out here on this man. And now that the fight is made, y'all still doing the same thing, and it don't have the same effect. Now you becoming and acting like your mental health is in question. Now you're seeing the whole entire persona play out in front of you. The whole entire time, Bud stayed the same person. Now, Spence is at a point where he cannot sit up here and defend y'all. He didn't defend y'all back then, and he's not defending y'all now that the fight is made. He can't defend y'all. He can't defend the bullshit that y'all say. He'll sit up there and tell somebody, hey, man, don't believe what you hear on YouTube. Don't believe that shit, bro. Don't believe it. That's a harsh reality that we're dealing with. If this is going to be the biggest fight ever, both fighters have to equally promote it. And thank God we have the first presser kicking off next week. We have the first line of offense and communication kicking off next week. The first one is going to be in Cali, and the second one in NY. And look, I know that shit is going to be freaking packed. I know anybody and everybody is trying to showing up to New York to try to see that, to try to get some questions in. You know what I'm saying? That is what's popping. Let me get to the freaking. Let me check over here right quick. What's going on, Pablo? So if you haven't seen the date is already out there. June 13th and June 14th. That's exactly where we at with it. You know, June 13th, June 14th is where we at with it. All right. That is where we're going to be able to see some type of mannerisms. We're going to be able to see how they interact with one another, the exchanges, the verbal exchanges that they have. We're going to get to see how this fight may potentially be. Like, we're going to see the energy. We don't need ESPN First Take cordial. We need some actual trash talk. So the good thing about from this Friday all the way to next Tuesday is that when that Tuesday hit, it's going to be more content to be disseminated out here on the YTC. And those of you that's complaining about me mentioning the accident, you should get with the aerosexual and ask them why every time somebody else say something about Bud, it's true. But if Bud, who is not really talking about Errol Spence in a negative way, it truly don't matter to y'all. Y'all continue to say the same shit over and over again. I never quite understood that Errol Spence can say something about Bud Crawford and indirectly or make a statement that has to do with him because he is the opponent, right? You take it and you say Bud did this and Bud did that. What kind of bullshit is that? This is a perfect example. Look at this shit right here, right? This right here, the thumbnail that I got up here, right? So if you look to Bud's right, that's his symbol. You know, the TBC, that's his symbol, right? That's his trademark. That's his symbol, man. That's what's on all his merch. That's his symbol. If you look over here, I don't know if this even considered merch. I don't consider this to be trademarked or anything. This is just something somehow to sell, merchandise for the out to the public. But understand the reality and the truth to this thumbnail. The fact that Errol Spence merchandise has the name of Bud Crawford. Do you not see that? His merchandise has the name. See, when you looked at Terrence Crawford and what he put out, he just had a fish. Anybody can be the fish, but since Errol want to say he's the big fish, he got his belt, which signifies the title that he's reigning and defending, right? And he has that fish on top of the trident, and he's giving you the understanding that I am the Black Aquaman, and I went in there and hunted this fish down and put it up on a post. That is absolutely dealing entirely with his brand, his motherfucking brand, right? But we go back down here to this thumbnail and you check out Spence, and that's smoking on Bud. It has Bud's name on his merch. You know how I was on here saying that these content creators are making money off of Bud Crawford's name because his name is one of the more popular topics in the algorithm on YouTube. Well, guess what? Where did they get it from? They picked it up and did the same thing. He's basically using his fans to make money off of Bud Crawford's name too. This is the reality and the truth of it. Smoking on Bud. He even have a so-called animated picture of supposedly Bud in wrapping paper. Once again, that has to do with Bud Crawford. Now, I'm just asking myself, man, like you, I'm asking myself, how in the hell, who in the fuck approved this shit? Who in the hell approved this shit? Let me take a moment. Hold on for a second. All right, we back. Showtime said that's probably why he's taking them down. They rushed to put out some gimmick T-shirts. You know, I was looking. I was like, okay, this whole entire window where Bud Crawford had to place himself in this negotiation. Why? Because he's holding the last belt. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't part of the easy route. So he's not part of the route, period. He is the absolute destination. Right? He's the destination. I'm pretty sure Terrence Crawford has learned a lot during this process too. That he probably either say, I wish I would have known this early in my career, you know, or he's like, okay, this came at an opportune time and I learned some stuff from it. But how can you put out merchandise with your opponent's name on it and it's supposed to be your merchandise? You're basically showing the people that you don't have any self-value. Like, what are you promoting that people can look at you? Because they were saying that you're more popular, right? I remember back in the day, they say you're the more popular fighter. You the boogeyman, man down, you the truth. So this whole entire time, the people that was around you that's supposed to be your marketing team, the group of individuals that's supposed to present ideas, they came up with this, which basically allows your opponent to further elevate himself as the betting odds. You know what I'm saying? Even you feel that he's important enough to put it on your merch. Something had to be exchanged behind the scenes where somebody said, you know what? You're selling merch off my name. How can you do that and not break me off some of it? I mean, you're pretending, you're giving people the impression that that's me, that the fish is smoking, right? So I don't get a piece of that. I don't get any type of compensation for that. I mean, you're talking about me. My merch has me on there with a fish. It mentions nothing about you, but you actually have rolling paper with Bud on there, which is his middle. Like, come on, bro. Like, you use that man's name to sell your shirts. And what happened? Everybody that's down with the goofiness, they said, hey man, I'm glad he did that. Good shit, bro. We like that. And I see people like they have this up. Oh, they actually think it's a tour. It's no tour, bro. It doesn't need to be explained in depth. We don't need type of legal representation. We don't need a dragoman, a hired dragoman to figure this shit out. Bro, it's no tour. This is your last stand to be relevant. Everything that they thought you was, now you have to prove it. But unfortunately, during the time that you was waiting and thinking you was coming up with a master plan, it's not the way you figure it to be once you got here. It was no master plan. They told you to come the easy route, and that wasn't the way it's supposed to be, because ultimately they didn't properly prepare you and say, listen, yeah, this ain't exactly the easy route because you can pick up all the belts, but we still got to deal with that Omaha monster. Okay. No one didn't prepare him for where he's at right now. That's why it's so slow for him to get started. Then they come up with this t-shirt deal, and somebody actually approved production. Somebody said, okay, production's been approved. This is what it's going to cost. We're going to put out this many t-shirts. Who approved a t-shirt, a gimmick t-shirt that's based with Bud name on it to send out there to your fans? Who approved that? Who approved this, man? How can Bud name be both sides of the coin? You know what I'm saying? How can his name be on both sides of the coin, dog? Y'all busy up here talking about, if I flip a coin, I guarantee you I can flip this coin and it'll be heads, right? That he ain't gonna win this fight because his resume ain't there. Let me flip it. Boom. See, I told you. Heads, man. He ain't winning the fight. But can I see the other side of the coin? Man, you doing too much. I just said flip the coin. Well, you're doing too much. I flipped it, and that's what came heads. No, I want to see the other side of the coin because I could have sworn I saw the same face on both sides of the coin. You know, it seems like you're trying to get over on me. Man, give me the coin, man. Before I light your ass up. Give me the coin. That's what I thought. A two-sided coin, same picture on both sides. How can your picture be the same, send the same message on both sides, right? In one narrative, you negotiated bad faith, you doing everything bad, right? These niggas don't have nothing good to say. You doing everything wrong. You got up and walked away from negotiation. You surprised everyone. You surprised everyone. You got up, you walked away. You didn't want anything to do with Spence. You know what I'm saying? You was ducking him. You didn't want anything. You know, you wanted transparency. You didn't deserve transparency. You know, you don't deserve shit. On one side of the coin, it's the shit side of the coin. You don't deserve shit. You shouldn't ask for shit. You ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Don't bring your ass around here with that shit. We don't give a damn. You try to, you try to bring some hedge fund guys in there. We don't want to hear that shit. Everything was wrong, right? Everything. Now you have the lighter side of the coin, where the truth is what it is. Things are coming to light. Nobody can rebuke it. This is a side of the coin that the real hardcore fans knew that was out there. We knew if a person take the effort to go over there without a promoter, it's going to be tough, but at least they are engaging. You know what I'm saying? They're showing that they're willing to make the fight happen. They're engaging. The shit didn't happen. So now on the lighter side of the coin in 23, we don't know what's going on. And then boom, that coin comes out. Poop. Yep. I called Arrow up. And I did, blase. We talked and this, that, and the other. The fight was made. It's going down. Nothing negative said. The lighter side of the coin. You know what I'm saying? When you give somebody their honor, we honor them. Like in the Marine Corps, we say honor, courage, and commitment. You honor them with the medal, right? They doing good shit. You're doing good deed, meritorious promotions. So all the good shit is coming out that Crawford did. He made a call to Errol Spence, and that shit has not been refuted. But yet the Errol-sexuals, they refuse to speak on it. They wait till Errol Spence come out with an interview, and they say Bud kept Errol waiting. How can Bud keep him waiting? He the B-side, right? How can the A side have no value to a fighter that you never considered to be the A side? How does that work again? How does that work? How does that work though? How can a fighter that you never considered to be the A side have so much influence on a fighter that they know to be the A side? He has all the straps. He has everything that you say he did. Every single piece of the pie, he has it. But yet and still, you're busy finger pointing at a fighter that's moving in bad faith. He's moving funny. He's not doing what he's supposed to do. He should be the challenger, take less money, shut up. Mediocre resume, fucked up body of work, ain't did nothing his entire career. But how in the hell someone's gonna get up here and say, "Oh, I was out of the sport for a year. I had, I was out of the sport, for a year. I had I honored his demands. It was a grueling negotiation." These niggas come back on here once again talking about that dude that was the B side, no side. They couldn't negotiate. That moved in bad face. They kept on trying to put the man with Dane Cunningham. The man didn't do shit. Damn resume ain't shit. Body work ain't shit. And he ain't did nothing. His undisputed title, that he's accomplished one shit. All that. They don't even consider him the B side. You know what I'm saying? All that. This man had no value when it comes to this social media at all, right? But yet every time you hear them, they are complaining about something he did that influenced their fighter. Nigga, how does that add up? How does that dumb shit add up? Either he's the C side or he's the A side. In your narratives, there's no way that he could be the A side because he only has one belt. Bud only has one belt. So titles matter, huh? Titles matter, right? Only until you start to calculate how many championships Bud has actually won. That supersedes that of Errol Spence. But they'll change it up and say, people, we're not talking about what he did outside of 147. We're talking about only at 147, only at welterweight. Okay, cool. We're talking about that. So we talking about the guy with three. Yes, he has all the belts, 3 belts. No, he did everything he's supposed to do. Okay. Another thing that needs to come to acknowledgement is how he picked up the belts, right? That video has had millions of views. And he said he took the easy route, millions of views. He took the easy route, millions of views. He took the easy route, millions of views. And this man took the easy route. You know how many times that shit was put out here on the YTC and they was out here bitching and complaining? Doing him taking the easy route, they was coming here trying to put narratives together to say, Bud could have fought Spence if he wanted to. Bud could have fought. It's never Spence could have fought Bud, but Bud could have fought Spence if he wanted to. He decided not to. He need to sign with PBC. If he was signed with PBC, he would have had a title shot already. If he do this, if he do that, okay. So he gets all the belts. Now, long behold, as the world fucking turns, all of my motherfucking children, they come out and start, oh my God, he had him doing a grueling negotiation, but he just put him and force him to honor his demands, or else Errol had no other way. He had no other recourse. If he didn't honor his demands, he wouldn't have had to fight. And he's on borrowed time. He can no longer. Look, they try to tie in the 147-pound limit. The man's been fighting this weight class forever. He can barely make the weight. Why is Bud being such an asshole? Why? Why would he put Spence through this? Why would he force him to honor his demands? Why would he keep him out the sport for over a year? That is insane, y'all. Insanely stupid. Insanely motherfucking stupid. How can your fighter be the A side? But yet, all of a sudden, with one of the most premier advisors in the game, all of a sudden, no one wants to talk about him. It's all based on Spence. And what y'all saying is, oh man, I want to run a pity parade because I don't have enough information to find out who was in the league, what, when, and how, and what took place on this date. Y'all don't have the info. Y'all don't have y'all sources coming to you. So now you go back to square one. Instead of building up the fight, since it's on BoxRec, you still talking about, oh man, he had him in a grueling negotiation, man. See, that's why I don't fuck with him, bro. He had him in a grueling negotiation. Now, why weren't you in negotiation then? I mean, come on, janitors need love too. Why weren't you in the negotiation? I'm pretty sure they saw you out there swabbing the floor. They saw you out there, goddamn, dusting down the walls. You trying to tell me you wasn't active enough to the point where they found out, oh man, I didn't know you was out here. Come on in. We're negotiating this fight. I know you've been around boxing for a while because we talked before, but come on in. Yeah, leave the mop bucket out there. It stank all to be damned. But yeah, I want to get your input on this. You know, we have Spence, you know, unified champion, a heavy lifter. Yeah. I just want to ask your your point of view on some of this business that we're doing here. You know what I'm saying? We're at a dead end right now, to be honest. We're gonna have to basically give guarantee money this time. And things have changed. We got, he has representation. I just want to get your take on this. Should we give him guarantee money? Should we put it back at the net? The janitor probably said, well, I don't think he should get shit. I don't think he should get shit. Well, to be honest, he has to get paid, okay? He has to be compensated for this fight. Let's be honest. I don't know why I call you up in here. Dude, you about to get fired. Now come up with something else. What are we missing here? What are we missing? How can we make this a deal that, his opponent, Bud Crawford, would be able to sign the dotted line, Well, you might want to look at it this way. Both of them on the pound for pound list, and dude rates a guarantee. He rates a guarantee now. I didn't say that last time because I didn't want to get fired. But the way y'all doing him, he rates a guarantee, man. And pay-per-view numbers, the pay-per-view price needs to be up there in the 90s to 100. It needs to be put out there so monetarily both fighters equally benefit from it. You understand? All right. You okay. We're gonna make this happen, okay? Because I overheard y'all last year talking about the hedge fund, and you say you didn't want nobody else touching because, why would you put a ceiling on something? I just thought you should have took that hedge fund. These guys could have been in the ring already. You know what I'm saying? Nah, we couldn't have been in the ring because Errol he wasn't in shape. But listen, dude. Hey, I appreciate you. Get back out there and clean them floors, right? You know what I'm saying? You get a little bit too comfortable here, man. Next, you're gonna be asking me for a glass of wine and shit, man. Get back out there and sweep, mop them floors, bro. Thanks for coming in here. Thanks for your input. Hey, by the way, before I go back out here, is any way I can get a free ticket to the fight? Man, we ain't giving out shit, man. All the money's going to the fighters. We ain't giving out no tickets. God damn it, you make real good money up in here, right? Well, not exactly. Oh, you don't? You fired. Get the fuck out of my face. Get the fuck out of my face, man. They get the information from him and they fired him off. Get out the building. Security. Get this dude out. Get him out of here. Leave the mop and the bucket right there. Get him up out of here, man. Trying to ask me for a free ticket. Juice Lee, what's good, bro? He should have never dropped them shirts. Bud gonna make him answer for that. Bud doesn't let the disrespect go unchecked. See, man, you absolutely right, bro. You're right, because the situation that happened with Timothy Bradley, this situation in general, man. Oh, how he pulled up on a certain YouTuber. He changed his 7-Eleven life. You right, Juice. You right, man. He doesn't let disrespect go unchecked. God damn, you are absolutely right. That's one thing Bud does check. Those who are out here acting a fool. EJ Dumpteen is just racking up bulletin board material for Bud to give him the ass whooping of his life. Hey man, that shit right there. You have your opponent's name on your merch. You're pretty much making money off your opponent. When you should be selling merch that represents your brand. Point blank. Period. You have the fish on there. So the gimmick is not enough for somebody to create a story to say, okay, what do we put with a fish? What can we do? Oh shit. Bud, smoking Bud, right? And the fish acting like he's rolling up. Ain't you know what? That is genius. That is genius. Real talk. If you're retarded, shout out to Green Green in the building. They made Bud mad. Let me see. They mad Bud made them give in on certain things. He got his best friend, so-called Nelson, on the card and some paper in his pocket for his family. That's honorable behavior, only men of integrity. Man, talk your talk, man. We wouldn't even get into the undercard. You know, we wouldn't even get in the card because we've seen that happen time and time again. But in this particular, yeah, you know, being that he did sign with PBC with a rematch, okay, and it wasn't a promotional signing. You're right. He did, you know, get Steve Nelson there to make some money, and people sleep on So Cold. They sleep on the dude, but he can fight, bro. They sleep on him. I mean, I know he was out. He had an injury or something like that, but you're right, man. Absolutely, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember when he wanted transparency, and they was up here dogging this man out tomorrow. Who the fuck he think he is? He want transparency. You don't nobody want no transparency, huh, Don King? Nope. Don't need no transparency. I'll tell you what's in the contract. You don't need nobody to help you read it. Okay. I just offer them, hey, sign right here, right there where the X is at, and everything else is good. Yeah, you lock yourself into a 13-year contract and you at a cap, you would get $580 something per fight. You know what I'm saying? Come on, people. Come on, man. The man did not only for him, but for his team and his friends. You can't sit up here and neglect that. But truth be told, they don't want to understand what the truth is. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to understand the reality. They've been talking shit about this man, which a lot of that is not adding up now. You know what I'm saying? When does it come to a point where if you were so involved with this fight happening and you feel like Bud was doing the wrong thing, now we have a good space. We have a good space that the fight is happening, and he did do some positive shit. So being he did some positive shit, I'm waiting on y'all to come out and say some positive shit. He did some positive shit. When y'all gonna talk about the positive shit, dog? All y'all doing is talking about some grueling negotiation and that he had to sit out and make it act like it was Bud Crawford's fault that he sat out for a year. This wild. Like once again, this guy, right? Who does Bud Crawford blame? Right? He was out of the ring for a year. Who do he blame? Do he blame Errol Spence for taking a fight in April against Shadinas Ugas when they could have fought between November of 2021 and November 2022? Who does Bud Crawford blame for being out the ring that long until he faced Avanesian? Who does he blame? Because he wanted transparency and he didn't want to get locked in and look stupid for negotiating in bad faith like they say he does all the time. So if you're going to give the man the criticism and he's going in this negotiation without a promoter and he's handling his business and the fight don't happen, you fault him for going in there and trying to get transparency, right? I get it. Y'all some selfish ass niggas, man. Y'all some selfish ass niggas for real. They don't want this man to do anything. It's almost like, you know, in school when you had a kid to come in there and their parents pull up and they drop him off, they have a Mercedes Benz and nobody else can relate to that. Like, damn, Your parents got a Benz like that? Yeah. But that's not the current year. It's like 2 years ago. Yeah. Daddy, yeah, he has a luxury SUV, you know. Yeah. That's just a lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? People be downplaying. Yeah, it's just a lifestyle. Oh man, you got those new pants that came out. They cost like $300. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they surprised me with them. Why they surprised you? It was your birthday? No, just they just felt it was Friday and they went shopping. And while they was out, they just bought me some clothes. I just didn't quite get it. They spent $5,000 on me, but I didn't ask them to spend $5,000. So I really don't. I really hope it doesn't come out of my allowance. You know what I'm saying? They spent $5,000 on me, and I really didn't ask them to, but I'm hoping it don't come out my allowance. Well, how much you get for allowance? Are you talking about a week or a month? Well, let's just say a month. It's about $8,000. It's about $8,000. That's what I'm getting a month. That's your fucking allowance? Why you don't drive? Why you don't have your own car? Well, to be honest, I'm too young to drive by myself. And my parents say it'd be better for me just to have a chauffeur. If it's not them, then they send a chauffeur and he takes me to school. You know, it's a bummer. But hey, Dad's trying to get cleared through the local FCC or whatever, FAA. That he can fly me in and land on the roof of the school and drop me off. That'll be cool because we want to take some pictures and do some footage. I'm starting up my channel. Showtime said you should know better than that. He has a team around him to advise him. Didn't he just sign a management deal? They should have advised him about them t-shirts with Bud Crawford's image likeness. Talk your shit. God damn it. That NIL, name, image, and likeness, man, you are absolutely on point with that. He did sign to a new management, right? So truth be told, they should have discussed these areas with him. NIL is a huge, lucrative acronym, name, image, likeness. It is extreme. Can you imagine if Jordan had an NIL back in the day? Could you imagine Jordan having an NIL? Dude to be a trillionaire, dog. Dude to be a trillionaire. But you're right, man. If you sign to a new team, I'm curious to know who was doing the talking and who was doing the listening. I'm just curious because do you have Bud Crawford's name on your merch, man? Which you're using his name because you haven't did nothing in the previous month since you finished fighting. Since you fought your Dennis Ugas, you did nothing in the media. Except go back and forth with Bud after the first negotiations failed. You know what I'm saying? You did nothing. So now, you're about to take the shirts down supposedly this week, right? I'm curious to know if they even dropped the prices on the shirts. I'm curious to know how many of these channels are going to say, oh, I got my shirt before they took it down. I'm never going to wear it until July 29th. I'm going to make sure it's fresh. I'm never going to wear it until I go to the fight or I have a fight party in July 29th. You know what I'm saying? So I can have the vintage. It's no longer available. It's no longer being produced. I have the vintage shirt. I get it, bro. But shout out to everybody on this Friday, man. I talked about multiple topics today, with Tio, Josh Taylor earlier. You know what I'm saying? The situation with Lopez Sr. saying 20 million and more like telling Bill Haney it's 20 million to fight my son. I ain't mad at him, man. Put your price up there, Senior. Just like the Haneys are going to put their price up there, put your price up there. Name your price. Name your motherfucking price. And then also with this ever forever, ever going saga of information that I truly believe these guys don't want the fight to happen. I think they would rather Arrow just go on to the next division without fighting Bud, because at this point they don't have enough confidence to say, okay, this is what's gonna happen. They will lead with sarcasm. You know what I'm saying? They'll lead it with sarcasm, but they really don't have that authentic confidence to say, I believe this fight is gonna happen. I believe this fight is gonna win Arrow because of that. I don't think so, bro. Bill's Boot Camp. I see you. What's good, Bill? Salute to your brother. He said, salute the Bud. He knew his worth. He knew. Look, this dude. Look, I'm gonna be petty too. God damn it, I am going to be petty too. Shit. This dude up here dropping $15 words, $15.10. Nigga like me, you think I'm gonna shy away? Nigga, I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up, god damn it. I'm looking this shit up. Tell me, I ain't gonna get educated. What is the meaning? For first, I need to hear the pronunciation. Ubiquitously. Ubiquitously. That's about it. I'm not trying to bite my tongue off saying this motherfucker. The definition is by seeing to be everywhere or in several places at the same time. You could have just said omnipresence, bro. What you doing, Pablo? God damn. You know what it takes for a man of my age to pronounce the word ubiquitously? Appreciate dropping that word up in there, though. Appreciate it. You could have just said omnipresence. You could have just said omnipresence, but you put the U, and you know the when you put that Q in there, and you put the Q in front of the U. You know what I'm saying? You have them vowels all close together and shit. It's a lot of vowels in here, bro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sometimes Y7. Salute to you, man. You know what I'm saying? By seeming to be everywhere or in several places at the same time. Appreciate the education. Okay, so salute to Bud. He knew his worth. He knew he's ubiquitously regarded as the best pound for pound fighter too. I don't know if ubiquitously is in the right context. Let me see. Ubiquitously regarded. He's seeming to be everywhere or in several places at the same time. Ubiquitously regarded as the best. I don't know if you use that correctly, Pablo. You know what education is over here with these words now. I don't know if you use that properly, but you know what? Fuck that. Man, you put it up in the damn chat. Salute you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Salute you for even putting it in there. And so, regarded as the best pound for pound fighter too, he also knew how big this fight is and wouldn't accept a terrible deal. He was patient and it worked out. True words, man. That's what it's all about. It's business, right? But it's a problem. It's cool when they do it, but it's a problem when Bud do it. Now they can come up here and talk about 60-30. You know, no, not 60-30. What the fuck I'm talking about? That's what happened when you had ubiquitously on your thought process. But they're talking about 70-30, 80-20. And then when you get called out on the carpet for it, and Brian Custer asks your ass, hey, you remember what you said? You said, I remember 60-40, 7-30, 80-20. Now tell the fans, what did you mean exactly? I said that. Right? I don't know what I said. I said that. Yes, you did, Errol. You said it. Yes, you did. Oh, I was just joking. I ain't mean that. You know, I was just bullshitting. Okay, that's what we thought. But the fact is, you acknowledge that you said it. You said it on more than one or two occasions, bro. You put it out there. You know what I'm saying? You put it out there. And then this man is in a sport where they say boxing is a business, but yet he can't conduct business because he wants transparency, and they don't want to give him transparency. They say, how dare you ask for transparency? How dare you, if they're saying the net profit and all the expenses that are going to be paid on the back end will affect the amount of money that is rendered to you after everything has been added up and accounted for, and it's wrong for him to ask for transparency? Man, they was on some bullshit, dog. No, ubiquitously is a $15 word. Not just based off the meaning. The meaning, it has a portion, but it's the pronunciation that you have to be on your shit to be able to fluently pronounce that word in a sentence. You can't say you bitch at, ubiquitously. Damn. I thought I almost cussed the motherfucker out. Excuse me, I apologize, sir. I was saying ubiquitously. I wasn't saying you bitch ass Nick. I was saying ubiquitously, okay? Don't get offended. Calm down, brother. It's ubiquitously, not you bitch ass nigga, okay? All right, cool. They spelt different. They mean different, okay? Even though you get some bitch ass niggas, they everywhere all the time in several places. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Don't accuse me of shit. But hey, it was a learning moment. You know what I'm saying? It was a learning, and I'm going to put it out there. How do you use in a sentence? Sugar is ubiquitous in the diet. We were plagued by the ubiquitous mosquito. Coffee shops are ubiquitous these days. Is there no escape from the ubiquitous cigarette smoke in the restaurant? She is one of the wealthiest, most ubiquitous media personalities around. Thanks for Pablo for dropping that $15 word in the chat. Let me see, go back up here to the top. Let me talk about this next topic because I don't know how y'all feel about it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how y'all feel about it, but I have to speak on it because it's just basically I'm doing a live on Deontay Wilder tomorrow because I'm going to speak on a certain situation that they're trying to make happen behind the scene. But I want to speak on this right quick. This is going to be my last topic. I just think it's relevant. Y'all. So, 4 division world champion Saul Canelo Alvarez. You know him. He just had another win coming off the tough and durable John Ryder. You know what I'm saying? And this was the first fight off his surgery, right? This man has a total of 63 fights, y'all. He has broken the 60 fight threshold. He's 59 victories in, 2 defeats, and 39 KOs. He's only 32 years old, y'all. But he has a lot of tread on the tire, right? He has a lot of tread. But this is what concerns me about Canelo Alvarez. He has somehow, some way, or, you know, look, I'm just going to be honest with you. I heard that they offered that man 50 million. 50 million. Ubiquitously. They offered this man 50 million to fight David Benavidez. $50 million to face David Benavidez. Once again, I repeat, supposedly the word was they offered this man $50 million to fight David Benavidez. And he did not take it. This is a travesty at the end of the day because you never beat him for the belt that you are parading around with undisputed. Now, granted, people are always going to say David Benavidez fucked up and all that. He lost, his belt was stripped and all that. Okay, but now the things are settled down and he's defeated one of your common opponents. Well, plenty. He defeated your most recent common opponent, Caleb Plant. You don't want to fight David Benavidez because you know it's going to be a tough fight, but you fought Dimitri Bivol. Everybody and their mama know David Benavidez and Dimitri Bivol will be a tough fight, right? But in your own weight class, you have that Mexican monster there, right? And 50 million is not enough for you to say, yeah. And I'm hearing now, right? I'm hearing now that the fight isn't happening. Unfortunately, the fight isn't happening. And I'm very disappointed because I really wanted to see David Benavidez and see how he looked in there against Saul Canelo Alvarez. I really wanted to see how he would look. You know, two Mexicans going in there fighting, man. Oh my God, that would be incredible, bro. But now I'm hearing, and let me read this to you right quick. Let me just put this out there. All right. Let me read you a little short little passage. Okay. WBC interim super middleweight champion David Benavidez will not be challenging Canelo Alvarez for the undisputed championship next, but will face WBA regular champ David Morrell Jr. for the title. Now, let me remind you all, David Morrell Jr. is 9-0 with 8 KOs. So, hey, okay. Okay. All right. It's good. It goes on to say, unfortunately, the efforts at Gibbs has failed. And he'll now be heading in the direction of an arguably more difficult contest against the unbeaten Cuban Morrell. So they're trying to say he's heading into a more difficult fight with David Morrell. So they're basically saying that David Morrell is a lot tougher than Canelo Alvarez. Now, I have to take into consideration who's scripting this, the author, and not hold it at maximum value, okay? It goes on to say the former amateur star Morrell has recent victories over Yamaguchi Falco. Oh my God, Falcayo, and Yerbos Benavidez. Benavidez would need to raise his game considerably from what we saw from him in his last fight against Caleb Plant last March, because he's currently not good enough to be the superb fighter like Morrell. Obviously, this dude, as he's writing this article, is a heavy crack user. Real talk. He's a heavy crack user. For real. You're not going to mention that Caleb Plant was holding every time he threw a combination. Every time preceding his combination, he held. Okay. After just 4 years in the professional ranks, Morrell is seen by many as the best fighter at the 168 division. This dude, I can't even read his article no more. Hell no. This shit right here, this dude must be straight from Cuba, bro. Reports that the former two-time WBC 168-pound champion Benavidez promoter Samson Lukowitz will match him against the unbeaten Morrell, 9-0, 8 knockouts next in October. Canelo and his manager trainer Eddie also failed to accept the news I want to hear. Like real talk. He ducked 50 mil? He ducked 50 mil? God damn, man. I mean, I'm wondering how many people are going to talk about that duck. That's not even a duck. That's a motherfucking ostrich. You know what I'm saying? That's not a duck. That's crazy. JD say Pablo ate a dictionary for breakfast. I ain't mad at him, man. He dropped ubiquitous over here. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at him. Improve your vocabulary. Shit, do what you got to do. T-Pitts on deck. I see you. Bud just made over $20 million in under 12 months. Only haters that want to live better than Bud throw shade at him. That they are, man. They're straight up haters, bro. Real talk. They're straight up haters. No doubt about it. Someone won't be coming to the ring looking shredded as usual. I have a feeling what the excuse would be, but we shall see. Yeah, the excuse is going to be, that there's was issues going on. The fires was burning in Canada, so the air quality was bad. They couldn't really freaking go out there in the hills and run like they wanted to. We had to spend countless hours molding the mouthpiece, with full titanium grade. Even if he got hit flush by one of them counter Crawford uppercuts, Crawford would hurt his hand more than the mouthpiece being dislodged. Okay. Seriously, it's going to be too many excuses, but I want to stay positive on this. I want to stay positive. I don't want to be negative on this shit. The 2-day presser is kicking off next week. So I really want to stay positive on this shit. I do. I want to stay positive, bro. But this is not the last live I'm going to do on this. I just thought this right here was extremely important thumbnail because you use Bud's name for your merchandise, but really your people, your L-sexual, your pro Spence fans is saying his resume, he ain't did shit, but yet y'all continue to make money off this man's NIL. I mean, which one is it, man? What is it per se that's happening? Like what is going on, man? Like this man is being used left and right, front and back, flip him over. You say he ain't did anything, but every time I turn around, somebody is using his name to get super chats, using his name for views, using his name for damn near everything. Well, you want to come this way and say, well, you do the same thing. I'm not, bro. I don't ask for no super chats. I support him. You niggas don't support him. You just use his freaking name in your thumbnail, and then you might throw Spence on the back end of that motherfucker. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But man, y'all been cool. We'll do it again, man. We'll do it again. Appreciate y'all for pulling up. It's been like close to an hour, 45 minutes. But man, appreciate y'all. Salute. Y'all hold it down. Have a wonderful, wonderful Friday. Thanks for the donations as always. I'm out.